Hey guys, I'm Ken Gushi. Right behind me we have our updated 2022 Toyota Gazoo Racing North America GR86 with Threes Racing. Oh, that's such a long name. So this is our second year with this car, and competing with a brand new platform in the 22 season, we really had no expectations going into the season. But it turns out the car was built pretty solid. We ended up with one event win, so we were finished in 8th place in the overall series championships. We learned a lot about it. We learned a lot of it that we didn't like, and we really tried to address those issues in the off season coming into 2023. Now, part of those updates included really simple stuff like moving the pedal assembly back a little bit, making myself feel a little bit more comfortable in the seat. Just ergonomically felt more natural driving the car, and that was one of our main focuses in the off season. The second focus was finding a little bit more mechanical grip, so we wanted to add a rear sway bar. We did that, fabricated all the parts. Now we switched over from a 275/40 series tire to a 295/40 with the Nexen, which meant we had to include a lot more weight because bigger tire size means we have to go up in the tire weight class. So we had to add about 100 pounds, and I figured why not just make the rear sway bar out of thick, heavy material so that we don't have to add a ballast. So I did. I used the fattest sway bar possible that I could find. Aside from the chassis upgrades, we wanted to focus a little bit more on power upgrades. So we ended up partnering up with Ready Performance once again, and they supplied us with 2 of their new GPP turbo systems. We went from about 800 horsepower to 960 horsepower, up the torque range as well to close to 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. And so we have a lot more power now, which meant that we would need a lot more grip. So all of that kind of had to tie in together, right? The sway bar upgrade, the bigger tire, and more power. Naturally, you would think the car would go way faster than it did last year, but come Long Beach and we found out that we were a little bit short on the speed end. I was like, man, what is going on? Like, why is my car like not as fast as I expected? But we went through Long Beach, finished in the top 16, lost against Rome. We learned from Long Beach what we could, applied those changes going into Atlanta, but Atlanta was a complete disaster. Practice was all right, qualifying was great, and then the first practice lap of tandem, we get plowed into, damaged our rear subframe, had to change it out before the top 32, got no practice runs, ended up spinning out in the first lap in the chase against Dylan Hughes, and that was the exact same mistake I made last year. It was just like deja vu. The hit that we got during practice ended up shifting our motor a little bit, and the steering rod got jammed into the manifold, and I lost steering control. And then come Orlando, round 3 of this year, and we ended up blowing a diff. Now what we suspect is that the impacts actually damaged the differential that was in the car. So the problem that had started in Atlanta ended up, pretty much exploding our diff in Orlando. And then it was kind of like a shockwave of events. From the diff, we ended up blowing our transmission in the top 32 against Osbo. And so that was our weekend. Now going back to the sway bar at New Jersey, the first practice out, we kept the same setup from Orlando. And the second session, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try taking off the sway bar. We took it off and the car was a whole new animal. I mean, it was way faster. The car felt way more natural, easier to drive. I'm like, man, I wasted all that effort in the off season trying to find more grip, and all it was that fat sway bar that I added in the off season. It's a learning curve. We ended up pretty much going back to last year's setup. Had I known this would have happened, I wouldn't have spent all that time disassembling the car and rebuilding it from ground up. But another big change that happened this off-season was our livery, the design aspect of our team. And what I wanted to focus on with this livery was tie in my Japan program. And I wanted to really bring a piece of Japan stateside, and that's kind of what we went for, was bringing that design, the theme, the colors, and a livery to our US program. If you guys want more updates and follow along our season, you can catch more of this on the Throdle app. I myself is on there, so follow along. See you guys around.